If you are a support player or you find yourself playing support, a lot of what's going to contribute to the win from your end is going to be who you decide to facilitate or empower. Now, in a standard Marvel Rivals match where it's 2-2-2 compositions, most of the time, the lion's share of the healing is going to go towards the front line, your two tanks, because obviously it makes the most sense to keep your front line topped off, especially when tanks are so important in this game, and that's how a majority of supports will build their support ultimates the fastest, right? By healing the front line, healing tanks. Now, normally, you're not going to be healing the tanks every second of every match. A lot of what goes into how you're going to win the game is how you split up the other healing towards the other members of your team, whether it's the 2 DPS or the support on your side. Obviously, you are going to heal your support if they are getting dove or if they're taking a lot of damage, you're going to be patty caking each other. The main thing I want to talk about is as a support player, you need to be very good at identifying which of the DPS players are playing better, right? Who's getting more value? Who's popping off? It's very easy to look at a scoreboard and very obviously go, oh, this guy is 20-4, the other guy is 12-9. Let me put my other healing into this 20-5 DPS player that is just popping off, right? Whether it's a Bucky, a Spider-Man, whatever, right? Let me give him Snowflake, let me help him out, all that stuff. But there are other games where it's not as abundantly clear and it's not as, scoreboard reliant. Both of these DPS players might be in similar scores. You as a support player have to analyze, is this DPS going to be more dominant on this map going into their composition? How does this DPS, help me win the game? Should I empower him when he goes for these flank angles, when he goes for these off angles? I can't just ignore him, right? Because a lot of the supports and a lot of strategists in this game have a very simple mentality of if you're not in front of me, I won't be able to heal you, right? I can't really turn for you, I can't do this stuff. But if you see one of your DPS players that is playing really well, go for an off angle, go for an angle that, is not typical, and he takes a duel. If you're there to support him, if you're there to be there with the heals in a 1v1 scenario or an off angle duel, he's gonna win that 9 times out of 10, right? He has to be a historically bad player to lose a 1v1 with heals being pocketed to him. And that's what you need to identify as a support player. A lot of your wins are going to come through who you decide to empower, which DPS or which tank or whatever. This also applies to Vanguards as well, right? If you're a mag player, you're gonna wanna be aggressively bubbling your DPS that's diving in, going in and getting value, right? You don't wanna save your bubble for your other tank all the time. You don't wanna save your bubble for your supports if the DPS can do more with it, right? A free 200 HP shield is monumental for a DPS player that is popping off. That's the difference between him getting a multi-kill versus dying instantly. So I think it's really important to understand and identify win conditions for support players, not just DPS or Vanguards, and who you really need to empower in those games.